Welcome to the Fourth Row Podcast, your exclusive source for 2A basketball. And now, your hosts, coming to you from the Slim Force Studio, Andy and Benny Hill.
Welcome to the Fourth Row Podcast, the only podcast dedicated solely to 2A basketball here in the great state of Utah. I'm your host, Andy Hill. I'm here with Coach Benny Hill and Peyton Shepard, and it's draft time.
We're working double time tonight.
We just finished our wrap-up of the state tournament. To be honest with it, we're all on basketball overload. I know I'm a little bit tired emotionally and physically from the weekend. I know these two are as well. This is something that we've waited for all year long.
We had a blast with this last year. It turned out better than we thought it was going to turn out. Actually, we rolled the dice on it. We really did. This is one of the ones we completely, and I don't know, we unscripted this completely last year. We just decided, hey, we're going to, and we didn't even know how it was going to play out. We did it on live.
Yeah.
It just started, we flipped a coin and we just started rolling with it, and it actually turned out quite well.
Yeah. So a little bit of lay of the land. Tonight, what we will do is we will be announcing the fourth row MVP for both the girls and boys, 2A basketball. And then what we're going to do is we're also name captains for teams that we're going to have for both the boys and the girls. In just a moment, Coach Shepard's going to join the podcast. I'm going to step out for a minute. He and his wife, along with Benny, are going to do the draft for the girls' side. Last year, it was so much fun as we go through this. So they'll name two captains. We'll flip a coin, and then they'll start drafting players. And then once we're done with that, I'll come back on, and we'll do the boys. One other thing to note, last year we talked about this. We couldn't make it happen logistically, but this year we're going to make it happen. So March 9th, make sure you mark your calendar. If you are drafted tonight, we'll be sending notices out as quick as we can tomorrow to the players and to the parents. March 9th here in Gunnison, we will be hosting the first annual Fourth Row All-Star Game. Just a little plug. You will not be charged. We will not ask for a sponsorship. Everybody gets in for free. And there's lots of good swag to be given away for any player who comes and participates in the game.
Absolutely. The ultimate point of this is to recognize players and to give them a chance to play. A lot of times you don't get a chance. Most of the games are just seniors playing in them, so you don't always get a chance to play with other age classifications in these all-star games. And also there are highly likelihood that players from the same team will be on opposite teams in this game.
Yeah, so
which you wouldn't have a chance to do.
We've kind of thrown out the traditional rules here.
Kind of making our own thing.
And last year when we did the draft was one of the funnest podcasts I think we've ever done. Not to lose sight of this, a lot of kids are going to get some recognition tonight. Not only kids, but we'll talk about some coaches later on too. So that's how we're going to start. I'm going to jump out here in a second. Coach Shepard's going to jump on the mic with his wife. We'll see how this goes. Benny's going to be the moderator here for a little while. But again, mark your calendars, March 9th, Thursday night here in Gunnison. If you've never been to Gunnison High School gym, one of the best facilities around. We've got a fun night. We'll have a girls game at 6 o'clock, boys game at 7:30.
We'll kind of make it simple. It's a game, but not a whole lot of fluff.
Yeah.
Just come. We want to recognize players and just have a fun couple games.
Yeah, so we hope everybody who we talk about tonight can come. Again, we'll reach out to you. If we don't have contact information, we may be reaching out to coaches or schools or other players to help get in contact with us. We know a lot of you out there, but there's some of them we just may not have contact information for.
Just real quick, why Thursday night, Andy?
The reason why we looked at Thursday night is a lot of these guys, a lot of these basketball players are either soccer players, they participate in track, or they participate in baseball, the spring sports.
Yeah.
And
that's like the first big weekend of activities.
We wanted to do it next week, but there's this little thing called the junior prom in most rural schools that happens next week.
You don't touch that time.
You don't mess around with the
junior prom. And gyms are busy, occupied too.
So that was the first weekend. There's also some other things going on that weekend in addition to the sports that we didn't want to interfere with, which is why we're doing it on a Thursday night.
Yeah. Not the most convenient night of the week. It's not a weekend, but we're all used to traveling on, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We all had region games traveling multiple hours.
So if you're from Region 16, you could go from Gunnison to Duchesne on a Wednesday night. From Kanab, you could go to who knows where, make a long 2-3 hour trip on a Tuesday, Thursday night too. So people are used to traveling.
And we tried to find Gunnison is the most centrally located spot we had access to. It's right here in the hometown, so it could be hopefully the most convenient for everyone.
Yep. So with that being said, are you ready to get started? Coach Shepard will come on and let you guys fire away.
I actually had an enjoyable weekend visiting with Coach Shep, watching games, kind of get his perspective. He'd played a lot of these teams and seen a lot of these players. So we had a good weekend up north.
I don't know why you two picked to sit at the very top of the bleachers.
That is a solid point, because when I got there, you were sitting at the first row.
Well, yeah.
For sheer convenience, and then we were sitting clear at the top. I didn't think about that. My bad.
That's all right. I got
It's
my exercise in.
very unobservant of me.
That's okay.
Ben
That's
had to
funny.
walk off all of his popcorn. He was
Yeah,
eating.
you're right.
I tell you, I'm a popcorn guy, and their popcorn bags were tiny.
They were tiny.
So, the draft, the fourth row draft. This is our first girls draft that we've done, and I've said this several times. I'm very, very. Andy and I were when we first tossed out the idea of starting to cover girls basketball. We kind of threw it out as maybe I don't know. I think I probably threw it at Andy as maybe as a joke to see if he actually would bite off on it, and we both felt like just naturally that it would be a good, solid fit. And we can't thank you guys enough. We've got to know these two just it's not only as talking basketball, but as great friends. I've known Coach Shep for a long time. Never really knew Peyton. Knew who she was. Knew she was a fantastic player and watched her play. But this has been a great time for us to get to know you two on a friend level. And it's been absolutely awesome for us. So we're very appreciative of you two. I know my boys just wait for Sunday nights, you guys to come over, because it's great. We really, really love it. So we're glad that we have the girls that you introduced us and helped us learn. Girls basketball is legit.
It's
so
legit.
Thank you very much.
You
So what we're
bet.
going to do real quick is we are going to start with we're going to announce an MVP, the person that is the most valuable player this season for their team, and then we'll announce the two captains. So Coach Shep will announce his captain, you'll announce your captain, then Andy's going to flip a coin, and the winner of that gets first pick. And that first pick can be the MVP if you want to choose. I'm assuming you'll choose the MVP as the first pick, and then we'll go from there. Fair enough?
Yeah, I won't lie. I haven't had butterflies like this since the first time I came on. I'm a little nervous.
It's kind of good to put you two on the hot seat here.
It's fun, though.
This is going to be cool. So, Peyton, I'll let you take this away. Your 2023 girls 2A MVP would be?
Okay, so we discussed this, coming home from the tournament, and we really feel like Anna Cutler. She's our MVP. We both love how she plays the game of basketball. And we talked about this, in our last podcast we just did, but she's very composed at the guard line. She's a good leader, good offensive threat, can hit the three, but also take it to the hole. I love how she plays. She's confident, and she knows she's good because, she's put in that time, and I think she's the most deserving of this for sure.
Yeah, she's just a winner.
I loved one thing that I love to do now is I love to look at players' faces, especially when games are tight and there's pressure. I love to look at the interaction between coaches and their players.
For sure.
And I know last night I specifically was looking at her, and Coach Glover was getting a little hot and getting a little vocal about what needed to be done. And just the look on her face was like, I got it. Yeah, I got it. To me, that just blows me away that players can play with that confidence. And she definitely has it.
She does.
So, fantastic pick for an MVP. You can't argue with that one.
Yep. So congrats to Anna for that. And then do you want to
Coach Shep, your captain.
My captain, she caught my eye pretty early in the season. Pay and I watched a game. It was at Richfield, and it was Beaver playing. And there was this girl, number 40, who just took control of a game which went into overtime. She hit some big shots, and she's a freshman. So my captain is Danzy Bradshaw.
Isn't that wild? How often do you see a freshman that composed, that skilled of a scorer, leading a team like that. I mean, it is very, very impressive.
Yeah, it's very impressive, especially, the game was at Richfield. Richfield ended up number 2 in the RPI in 3A, so they weren't no slouch, and she just took over late in the game, and
and she took over, in the first half of the state championship.
True, yeah, she had 18,
completely
18 in the first half. So.
Funny story. Prior to that, I was actually in the bathroom, and these 2 boys from Beaver came in, and they were checking out their outfits in the mirror. Just some younger kids. They had their face painted, and they had some capes on and all this kind of stuff. I said, super fans, huh? And he's like, yeah, Danzy Bradshaw's my sister.
Oh, that's so
cute.
I
said, right on, bro. I said, how many points you going to score tonight? He's like, she's going to score 80.
Oh,
I'm like,
that's awesome.
I love it, man. If she can score 80, that would be fantastic. So that was cute. It was absolutely awesome to see. He was pumped. The first thing he said is, man, she's ready for this. She's been playing with boys, and she's ready to go.
She's been playing with boys. That's the way to do it.
And honestly, you can tell that she has – the game doesn't faze her. Not 1 ounce. It's easy for her. So very, very a fantastic player. Great captain. Peyton, your captain.
Okay, I'm going to go with Heartland Richens from North Summit. So what I love about Heartland, she's in our region, so I've got to see her play quite a few times. She's a sophomore, so we also have another, Danzy's a freshman, but sophomore, she really leads North Summit's team. She averages 14 points a game, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, so kind of a do-it-all player. But she reminds me a lot of Anna, just very composed, very good at handling the ball. Seeing her and her coach interact, she is the coach on the team, and you love to see that. So we got 2 guards facing off here as captains, and I think she's a great pick for my team.
Isn't it interesting that in this instance right here, MVP and first 2 captains are point guards? They control the game. They control the game. Coaches want the ball in their hands, and these players, they are the coach on the court, and they control it for all their teams. They control the game for them.
Sure. Well, especially me being a coach right now. When you look for a leader in a team, it's a guard. And
irregardless, even if they didn't score for you,
no,
if they can handle the basketball and control the game, invaluable. Yeah, very good pick. And you got the coin. Andy's going to flip a coin, and the winner is going to get first pick. Hopefully, you're smart enough to pick the MVP if you get first pick. So,
okay.
And the coin toss, Andy.
Tails. Ooh, got it.
What would happen if you would have lost, Peyton?
Well,
would Shep been chivalrous enough to defer to you on the first pick?
He might be.
I don't know if I would have deferred. I just would have picked someone else.
There we go. All right, so excuse me. I'll take the MVP. How about that?
Peyton, that was an easy pick. No deliberation. No time on the clock. Didn't have to burn it out. Peyton's taking MVP Anna Cutler on her team. To match that, Coach Shep.
Ooh, I'm gonna go with Aaliyah Baldwin from Draper APA. We saw what she did in the tournament. You guys talked about it in the last podcast. She can shoot it from anywhere, but she also can drive pretty well. And she actually passes the ball pretty well. I think her 24 points per game kind of get in the way of that, but I think she also averaged close to 6 or 7 assists a game too. So she was able to get her teammates involved a little bit.
And just a sophomore.
Another
young player and another point guard.
Yeah.
So point guards rule at this point right now.
Speaking on what he just said about Aaliyah Baldwin, you love to see that people that can control the game when they need to and just go get a bucket, but also those who recognize the value of teammates and getting them open and helping them be successful as well. So, I mean, good pick. There you go.
Thanks.
And she can go to Coach Shep, your pick. You're up.
Ooh, my turn.
Yep.
All right. Well, I'm going to take the first big off the board, Riley Little.
I knew it.
Solid.
And she's only a freshman.
Go.
So I'm going to go younger classman heavy here just to lead it off. But
love it.
She deserves it. She plays a huge role. She averaged 14 points a game throughout the year. But just the impact she has on the game. Kind of like you guys have talked about with Brockfelder.
Mm-hmm.
She's tall. Offenses have to, figure out how to score around her. Because you can't just shoot threes all game. That's not good.
They changed the entire impact. Most times in games, guards, it's great if you have a point guard that can beat their man off the dribble. But if you then have 6'3" standing in front of you, what do? I guess you can throw up a floater, but they changes the complete, and it makes defense for your teammates much easier when you have a rim protector.
For sure.
Yeah.
The other thing I was blown away by Riley Little is her hands. She catches the ball exceptionally well. My experience, a lot of big guys, a lot of times, or ladies, have stone hands. They don't catch the. She has fantastic hands on rebounds and to catch the ball in the post. She does a fantastic job of that.
We were actually talking about it this weekend. She gets up the floor very well too.
Yeah.
Like she moves very well.
I want to know who wins a one-on-one game versus her and her brother. That's what I want to know.
Ooh, that could be a halftime. That could be between
sibling one-on-one. I like it. Yeah.
A very nice pick. She's a special player, and she held herself. I mean, she played as a freshman once again. Here's another dynamic freshman that played on the big stage, and it wasn't too big for her.
Yep.
One more thing. Danzy and Riley hugged it out after the game as they were going through the line.
I saw on their Instagram.
I think there might be some chemistry here on my team.
Oh, I like it. You got your point and the big.
It's the coaching going in.
There you go. I
Oh my
like it.
gosh.
Yes.
All right. So
Coach Peyton.
let's go to Leah Lisa from Beaver. She's averaging 13 points a game, 8 rebounds. These two matched up, obviously, in the state championship. I like the way Talia plays. She's not the tallest out there, but she's strong. Mm-hmm. She's competitive. She's hard-nosed, and she plays tough. So
she had a fantastic season. I know when we were going through this before Andy and I got a chance to learn these names. That's a name that constantly came up from you was Talia Elisa.
During that semifinal game against Draper APA, we were kind of sitting closer to the court. She's not a small human. She's not as tall as Riley, but
she's strong.
She's strong. She'll rip your head off if you get close to her.
I know. I think there was it in the Kanab game? There were 2 girls that got tied up, and she was one of them. And I think she just ripped it to the ground, and she's just gonna dogfight you. Mm-hmm. And I love that. I love those girls who will get after it and play hard. So.
Tough physical player. And once again, she is a player that Beaver. For instance, Danzy Bradshaw is not able to do what she does without that player in the post. Mm-hmm. So very, very valuable player. Peyton, you're up again.
Oh, boy, I wasn't ready to pick again. Let me look through my list here.
We should have like a shot clock on this.
Oh,
got a 10-second shot clock.
Okay, 10-second shot clock. I'm thinking.
Like that new pitching
Do I want to go big or do I want to go guard heavy?
Well, that's what you should have thought of beforehand here.
Yeah,
What's your strategy, Coach?
I did think about it.
What's your style? How do you like to play? What's your style?
All right. I'm going to go Chesley Langston from North Summit.
Oh, you're going big again.
Yeah, I am. I'm taking her.
Power in the post.
Yep. Kind of same thing with Talia, and we talked about it in the other podcast, but she is great around the rim, very strong girl, but also has a nice touch.
Great
out
touch.
At 15.
Mm-hmm.
She can also shoot the 3, so I like the versatility. And I got Heartland and Langston. There's my guard post combo, so we'll see how it goes.
Peyton's going with the power game here.
Yeah.
He's going to pound you in the post. Coach Shep, you're up.
All right, I'm going to actually take Ashlyn Houston from Kanab. Another guard, but I think she might get a little overlooked with, having Little and Anna on the floor. But she hit some big shots there in that championship game. She actually averages more threes than Anna does on the year. So,
is she a sophomore or junior?
Well, she's definitely not a senior because they don't have a senior. So
junior?
She might be a junior.
And it's highly likely with those two special talents, the third does get overlooked from the outside. I'm sure she's not overlooked on her team, nor by her coach,
right.
nor by the people that know Kanab girls basketball. But she could probably, on another team without those other, she could put up a lot of points.
Yeah. I mean,
Very talented.
She averaged
great shooter.
Yeah, she averaged about 11 points a game. So, but she has a big impact on her team and on the game. So, yeah, I'm gonna go another guard. Get me some 3-point shooting out there.
He's gonna be shooting.
I know.
bombs.
I was looking at his list
Payne's
between.
going for the post play, and then
This is interesting. All right.
love it. Shep, you're up again.
Oh, me again. All right, I'm you know what? I'm gonna go
Don't do
guard
it.
again.
Don't do it.
I'm gonna take my sister-in-law,
No, that was my.
Trey Torgerson.
All right.
Another shooter, but what I love about Trey, well, two things. Her competitiveness. It's kind of why I married into the family. They have some competitive energy I love, but she's long. She's not a short, tiny guard. She's got those long arms. And so if she needs to guard a little bit bigger person here in this game, we can have her do that.
I've always thought as a just from a basketball fan in general, the long, lanky, the KD styles of players, they're a unique type of player that they can play all positions. And she does. I was going to say the exact same thing. The length that she plays with, and when they have the skill added to it, they become a mismatch problem. Peyton,
Well,
you better.
that
Are you
threw
getting
me.
nervous?
No, that threw me for a loop. I knew he was going to do it too. All right. You may be able to outshoot us, but we're going to run you to the ground. I'm going to take Gentry Brown. She can shoot the ball. Not saying she can't, but I do love how tough she plays. She's another one of those hard-nosed players. Very versatile, not only, taking it to the rim, but on the outside. So.
And you needed someone that can defend against all of his shooters.
Yep.
You needed someone to get after.
I was just thinking about that.
Tough-nosed defender.
Okay.
Actually, what I loved about Gentry, what I noticed about her, is the way she gets to the hoop.
Yeah.
She does a really excellent job of getting to the hoop offensively.
I think that's some influence. Her brother was like that too.
Yeah.
He could just get to the rim against anybody.
Right.
He could get to the rim.
And I think I might have your son in that cheering section that night.
Called him out. All right. So I'm up again.
Yep, you're up.
Okay. I'm going to take Presley Peterson from North Summit.
That's a good one.
I'm just going to, before you go on, I had not heard of her name throughout our conversations on the podcast. The very first game I saw was North Summit playing on Friday. Who was North Summit playing?
Oh, on Friday? Knapp.
Friday.
Yeah.
She had the first 12 points, maybe 11 of the first 12 points. I'm like, whoa, this girl's a baller.
She did. And
That was my introduction to her.
I kind of feel bad in a sense. I've talked about North Summit. There's Langston, there's Richens, and then the Murdoch girl I've talked about her, but I haven't really sat down and watched North Summit in particularly, but I love how she plays. She's a very good defender, very, very smart and quick, a quiet scorer, but she gets after it. And geez, I got me a squad so far.
You got the muscle.
I got a squad. That means you're up.
Coach Shep.
I'm up. All right, I better take a big. So I'm gonna go with Samantha Karchner from Draper APA. Once again, I'll have some chemistry there. What I like about Samantha is she is big, she's long, and she's going to be able to take it out and shoot a three here and there. So you're going to have to guard her out there. But I was very impressed with her and Aaliyah and what they brought to Draper APA's team.
Absolutely.
Nice little 1-2 punch there for them.
Coach Shep,
Oh, I'm
you're
up
back
again.
up again.
All right.
There's no rest for the weary here. You're going quick.
All right. Okay, I'm going to take Tawny Air from
Ooh.
Beaver.
He's still in mine.
She's a senior this year, but Pay did touch on it during the last podcast. She brought a lot to the team. that may not be noticed. She wasn't necessarily their scorer, but the way she approached the game, her defense, her energy,
and as a coach,
passion,
you can recognize that,
Yeah.
and you have to have those players. A lot of times you'll see a team. This is an extreme, but in the NBA, you'll see these super teams that pop up with 5 scorers on them. They always suck. Right. It just doesn't work.
No.
There's not enough basketballs to go around. And when you have a player that can defend, rebound, smart, they don't turn the ball over, offense runs better when those kind of players are on the court. Coaches can see that and notice that. It doesn't show up in the box score, but players like that make your team better and you win more games.
And they always seem to come up with the big play when you need them to.
Yeah.
Right there in that championship game, I think
It was late.
She had a big three.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they scored after that, but I think that was that last shot.
Yep.
But yeah, she's gonna be good.
Solid pick. I know Peyton had mentioned her, so she was wanting her. But Peyton, you're up.
Okay, I'm going to take Brooklyn Hewitt from Parowan. And I think she's going to be good for my team. Sorry, I'm writing it down.
That's okay.
She's averaging 17 points a game, and I'm not saying I don't have scores, but I need some shooters. I need some shooters. I have a lot of quick guards, but Brooklyn, she may not be one to, pound it into the paint and drive in, but I think she's a good outside shooter, and I can already see Heartland driving it in, dishing it out to Brooklyn, and hitting a 3. It's going to happen, so.
I like it.
What I liked about Brooklyn, I'll use Andy's word, but kind of steady Yeti. She was just always there. It looked like she only had about 1 speed the entire game, but she was always there when Parowan needed her to be there. So
And Parowan came in strong at the end of the second half of the season.
For sure.
yeah.
Okay, and then my next one, I'm going to go Kara Camp from Millard. Very, very quick. I remember racing her sister in high school. They are a fast family.
The Camps are runners, yes.
Oh, yep, very much so. She's very fast, very good hands-on defense, and from what I've seen just in region play, she gets a lot of fast break layups, those type of things. So, and it's also nice when you have a guard that's going to go out. She's averaging 5 rebounds a game, 5 assists. Kind of a do-it-all player for Millard.
Nice.
She can also score. She when Millard came over to our place over at North Severe had about a 20-point lead, and there in the third quarter she went on a 14-0 run by herself.
There comes Kara Camp.
There went the 20-point lead real quick. So
Got you an aggressive scorer.
Yep.
Coach Shep.
Okay. I'll take the other hometown. I'll take Brooklyn Butler. She's a senior. She's kind of the one coach relied on as far as leadership goes with that team this year. And she did a good job. I think there was a lot of pressure put on her. Mm-hmm. North Severe is a pretty young team, and so, I think the coaches were really hoping to get her to be that person to step up and help those younger kids along, which I think she did a pretty good job of. And from my knowledge, she's been starting for a few years now, so she's had a lot of experience at the varsity level. She definitely didn't have the season end the way I think she wanted it to, but she should keep her head up because I feel like she had a good year.
Not to be lost in that, I look at players very similar to her in the situation that she's in. When every team goes into the pregame talk in the locker room, every coach has her name listed first on the board.
For sure.
So a lot of times we just think, well, man, it's the best player on the team. They need to do all these things and they need to score. There's a reason why sometimes they may struggle. It's because the other team is trying, that's their number one focus of stopping that particular player. And so when you have, in this instance, a senior who is the number one focus for every coach, it's hard. Unless you're, some players are just specially gifted and talented with size or with deep range and that kind of stuff where they can overcome whatever defense is thrown at them. But sometimes, they might put up they don't put up what they would like to or what people think they should, it's because other teams are trying to stop them. That's first and foremost the reason why. So I thought she was to me, from the outside looking, very competitive player too.
She is, yeah.
Coach Shep again.
I'm back. All right, I'm going to take Kelsey Grant from Duchesne. I didn't see her play a ton this year just because I'm the coach of the boys team, but the couple times she played North Severe, I think she's just one of those players like you talked about. She's she's the first girl on the board that the team's talking about in the locker room. Mm-hmm. I felt like North Severe had good game plans against her, but I think she's the coach's daughter, and she's a good player. It looked like she, played post a little bit, and I'm a little bit smaller team, so she'll be able to help, hopefully guard those big.
I did listen to this game on Thursday. I listened to their game, and I can only speak. This is somewhat ignorance on my part, but the radio announcers was speaking of her, and that it seemed like she was like almost a seventh-year senior. She had played so long and been playing at the varsity level, obviously for 4 years. So when you're playing varsity basketball from the time you're a freshman to your senior, that's a special player.
For sure.
Yes.
Okay.
Did you pick two in a row? So, yeah, Peyton, you're up.
Yeah, you got your last two.
Okay. I'm going to go Kinley Jensen from South Severe. I'm going to take another big. This is weird for me.
It's very interesting being at a state tournament and not hearing much buzz whatsoever about South Severe from the boys or the girls. Very, very rare that happens.
Well, I think in at least the 2A girls community, there was a lot of people that were shocked about South Severe losing that game. So,
and I'm pretty sure it came down to like a last-second free throw opportunity that was missed. But, I mean, props to Millard for, a hard-nosed game and, upsetting him.
Moving on. So, you say another big?
Kay.
Another post player? Is that what you got there?
Yeah.
All right. I love it.
And then I'm going to go for this is my last pick. I'm going to take Bella Robinson from Parowan. Cody and I talked a lot on the ride home about it kind of surprised us that Parowan didn't peak until the end of the season because they have all the tools. I mean, obviously they got some chemistry going and things like that, but between Bella and Brooklyn, and then they have Bella Johnson, I'm pretty sure she's the coach's daughter, and they've got some good girls, and I don't know her name, number 5 on Parowan as well. She's a hustle player, and she had a great tournament. So that Parowan team surprised me, and I'm going to run with 2 of them.
They took Kanab 58-56 in the quarterfinal game.
Toughest
they very
game.
easily could have flipped the entire tournament in the first round.
Yep.
Obviously,
Huge.
they got some players.
Well, what's funny is Pay and I would have these conversations coming over to do this podcast, and she would always be like, "Gosh, should I put Parowan in the top 5? Should I?" It's like, well, they don't really seem to be hot, and then
then they were hot.
And they were hot, and they were a team that surprised me from the girls' side going into the tournament. Really good team.
Coach Shep finishes out. You got last pick.
Okay, last pick. I'm taking, the only one left, Riley Dyring here from hometown Gunnison. She deserves to be here.
Absolutely, she does.
Not just because it's Gunnison.
This is not even. We call out homer alerts when this is not a homer alert. Just so everyone knows, this is a legit. I love this pick.
No, yeah. For people that follow 2A girls basketball, they know Gunnison girls side has struggled for a lot of years, and to just see a girl come in year after year, putting everything she has into the game, into the team, she done well.
Yes.
She averaged 15 points a game. She averaged 9 rebounds a game. Just their kind of do-it-all player.
On Friday, a gentleman came up and introduced himself to me. He was Coach Palmer. He was the girls' coach from San Juan. I said, funny story is, I got a message from Robert Lovell a couple weeks ago. He said, "Hey, can you do some games, some playoff games on the radio with some color?" I said, "Yeah, sure. Which ones?" He's like, Gunnison hosting Mazer Prep, not a problem. He's like, Gunnison versus San Juan. I'm like, I don't know if I can make that drive to San Juan on a weekday. I would have loved to have done it, but anyway, so Coach Palmer from San Juan, he came up and introduced himself to me. He's like, hey, thanks for the podcast and what you do. And we talked a little bit about the game. I said, well, Gunnison was down there, and I wish I could have got down there and meet you. And he's like, yeah, Gunnison, played a very good game. And he said, Riley Dyring is a great player. She does a lot of great things for Gunnison. And she made it hard on us because, once again, going into every game, there's one name on the board, and it's Riley Dyring. Every game that they go into. And to continue to put up what she does, I think you said 15 points a game and 9 rebounds as a guard.
Well, and when their best defender is guarding her, she's averaging that.
Exactly.
So
Riley Dyring is going to finish us out. Great pick. Well deserved.
Well, wrap it
real
up?
quick here. Coach Shep, just run through your names real fast. And then after you run through your names, you tell me what style of play your team's going to play.
Okay.
How about that?
Well, Captain Danzy Bradshaw from Beaver, Aaliyah Baldwin, Riley Little, Ashlyn Houston?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't. Trey Torgerson, Samantha Karchner, Tawny Air, Brooklyn Butler, Kelsey Grant, Riley Dyring. As
a coach, what's your style, Coach? Obviously, I can tell what your style is based on how you drafted.
Yeah. Well, this is kind of the team I would want to coach, we want to play fast. We're going to look to get the ball into Riley a little bit. But we're going to shoot a whole lot of threes, I think. I think this team's a perfect setup for a game like we're going to have here in Gunnison here in a couple weeks.
Absolutely love it. Perfect. Peyton, run through your players real quick.
Yep. I got Heartland Richens as a captain, Anna Cutler MVP from the coin flip, Talia Lisa, Chesney Langston, Gentry Brown, Presley Peterson, Brooklyn Hewlett, Kara Camp, Kinley Jensen, and Bella Robinson. And, coming into this, I was more looking to play the other style of play. Quick threes. Cody does have a lot of offensive threats, but I also like my style. It's, like I said, it's different from what I was imagining it, but I got some bigs, and I got some strong players, and I love that. And we're going to run the heck out of the ball. Like I said, I have Kara Camp, Speedy Quick, Heartland Richens gets up the floor. Anna Cutler, I do have shooters too, but I don't know. This is going to be fun. I think it's very well matched. Different styles, but
this is why I'm
going to whop you.
This is why we loved when we did it last year, is we had no idea how it was going to shake out. But in this instance, you can see, and this is basketball, what I love is styles make games. You have bigs, power game, quick threes. Sometimes, one wins out over the other. That's the awesome thing about basketball is the styles and how coaches take the players they have and play a style that matches what their skill sets are. So, Coach Shep, any parting thoughts?
Yeah. For my team, I haven't lost in Gunnison for 2 years, so
you've only coached for 2 years.
You should have some confidence.
He's
going
undefeated
to the game.
career in his career.
In his 2-year career,
he's undefeated in Gunnison on Gunnison's court.
No, but with that, it's been a fun basketball season. Especially in our household, we go Monday through Friday.
That is true. Yeah.
She has sisters on the team, but since you guys got her to do this podcast, we have watched a lot of girls basketball, not just North Severe. So, I've got to know these girls from watching them play, and everyone on this list deserves a shout out and deserves to be here. They've put in hard work. They're talented, and we're excited to watch this talent compete one last time.
And
Parting shot, Peyton.
not only watch them compete, but hopefully watch them create friendships. I know it's kind of weird because
Glad you brought that up.
Because it's not just seniors, but some of these girls have probably never talked and have probably hate each other just from what they know on the court. But I hope they can get to know each other, because truly once you get out of high school, you're like, oh, why didn't I talk to her? She's so nice. Or, we would be great friends, things like that. So I hope you guys come out and enjoy it and have fun. And let's also kick his team's trash because I'm competitive and I don't want to lose.
You know what the best thing is, Pay?
What?
Is we chose these teams and we don't even have to coach them.
I know.
We just get to watch.
I know, we get to enjoy it. But I'll be screaming from the stands.
Thank you too for participating, and you nailed it. Andy and I's ultimate goal of the podcast is to bring our basketball community together, whether it be fans, coaches, players, all of that. That is our main goal. And I finished this off with a funny thing. Chris Jorgensen is our title sponsor and has been for 2 years. I absolutely despised Chris Jorgensen in high school. I could not stand, and he was probably likewise the same way. But now Chris is a wonderful, great friend of my family. Just a wonderful, wonderful friend. That if I never had a chance later in life I would still probably hold that grudge. But when you become friends, we didn't have these kind of things didn't exist. The communities, and the other interesting thing, the overall community of kids, they're so much closer now. The only time you ever met somebody from another school is when you played them, and you usually hated them afterwards.
Yep.
You didn't have a chance to snap them or text them or meet them in any social environment. So this will be an absolutely awesome thing for these girls to build lifelong friendships.
For sure.
Yes.
Very nice. We appreciate that. This will wrap up our girls team. I think we're going to now, Andy's going to bounce on here real quick, and we're going to fire off our boys team.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Coach Shep.
Thank you for spending your time with the Fourth Row. For more information, check out our website at fourthrowmedia.com or send us a message through any of our social media channels.